All right. So the first consideration we had when deciding where to retire was where our children and grandchildren. And for us, that was pretty easy because our kids never move very far away. They're just a county over or within the state of Texas pretty much. So staying here made a lot of sense. So what we did decide to do was go ahead and get a motorhome so that we could travel, about anywhere we wanted to within the continental United States, so we could drive. So that was kind of where our decision was. But you may be in a different situation where you can afford to go ahead and sell the home you're in and relocate somewhere else. And you may enjoy going ahead and traveling to go see friends because they're scattered all over. So I don't know what your particular situation is, but for us, it was just staying here. But let's go over some options if you do want to go ahead and move out of state or something like that. How do you do your research? So I came across an article in the New Retirement newsletter that went over a lot of this for us. So let's go ahead and go over some of this information. So when we talk about housing affordability, you got to look at a couple of things. You got to look at the state taxes, you got to look at the property taxes, which are assessed by the county. So once you figure out which state you want to live in, you kind of got to take a look at the counties to see what the property taxes are going to be in that particular county, because each state has real affordable places and not so affordable places. So you got to kind of take a look at that. States with the lowest housing affordability, according to this study, were Mississippi, Alabama, Kentucky, and Iowa. And the highest were, with no surprise, Hawaii, California, New York, New Jersey, and Washington. So there's no big surprise there as far as the lowest and the highest. Another big consideration for you, and something that we had to take into consideration because we live in a very rural area and most of the hospitals and doctors are about 50 miles away in Amarillo. So we knew that going into it, and we just have to go ahead and figure things out as we get older. Right now it's not a problem. We can drive each other, but when we get in our 80s, we're going to have to figure out ways for our children to take us to doctor's appointments. And there are some buses that run, into Amarillo and back and forth. But those are things you need to consider. So again, for the purposes of this article, the states with the overall best healthcare systems for seniors were Minnesota, North Dakota, Massachusetts, California, and Nebraska were the best overall health care for seniors in retirement. Among the worst was Oklahoma, Georgia, Mississippi, Louisiana, and West Virginia. So also take into consideration that when you're looking for places to retire. So with all the natural disasters that we've been having lately, I think it's worth taking a look at what are the safest places to live in the United States. And there was a study done by CoreLogic which took into considerations hurricanes, tornadoes, winter storms, what else we got here? Thunderstorms, inland flooding, all the natural disasters that happen in the United States. So among the safest places in the United States to live, Colorado had 2 counties that were the safest. Utah also had 2 counties which were the safest. And New Mexico and Montana both also had a county. So you can take a look at that region of the United States if that's a big concern to you. We just had some major wildfires go through the panhandle of Texas and devastated a neighborhood just right down the street from us. Town just down the road about 12 miles got hit really, really hard. A lot of people lost a lot of their property. valuables, and luckily there was very little loss of life. But that is definitely a consideration. When you look at climate and you think, well, I want to live in Florida or I want to live in California. Take a look at the natural disasters along the seacoast lately, and you might want to think about that twice. If you look down south in the, starting from Texas, clear over through to Georgia, and you've been looking at those thunderstorms and tornadoes that have been going through for the past couple of years. There's a lot of tornadic activity there. And living in the panhandle of Texas, which used to be Hurricane Alley, it's not anymore. Hurricane Alley's actually shifted about 500 miles east of us. But coming from that environment, I can tell you right now, there's a whole season from March through June where, every night you're kind of battening down the hatches waiting for the storms to come in. And these news feeds have gotten much, much better at predicting where and when these storms are going to pop up. But you really don't know. You can say we're going to have general thunderstorms tonight, and you never know just where they're going to pop up and where they're going to drop tornadoes or high wind events, things like that. So if you're the type of person who really, really stresses during bad weather events, you might want to stick clear of some of these areas. Now, currently in the United States, there are 7 states which don't have any income taxes. And that's an advantage to, like me in Texas, although we do have a pretty steep sales tax, and our property taxes are definitely not among the lowest. But those are things to look at. Currently, the states with the lowest combined local and state taxes are, drumroll please, Alaska, Hawaii, and Wisconsin, believe it or not. And the highest are Tennessee, Louisiana, and Arkansas. Now that's according to this report. I didn't do a lot of studying on my own on this. And also another consideration, if you're going to be carrying over a large estate when you move or a large inheritance, things like that. There are 10 states that have estate taxes, and there are a few states which do go ahead and pretty substantially tax Social Security and your pensions. So take a look at those states, take a look at the areas, and make a good decision if you're looking at making a move. So you know what? I hope this video's helped you. I hope you're having a great day, and watch this video next.